Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football. We're live for Fulham against Chelsea in the Premier League. What a game it is actually, because it's really important for Chelsea. Look, my club Man United's under pressure, but I think there's also a pressure for Chelsea here. They've had a terrible start to the season, and they really need to come out and get something from this game today. We've got the league table on the screen for you, which we will show you, because that's how it looks at the bottom at the moment for Chelsea. They are currently in 15th place with 5 points. They've lost 3, drawn 2 and lost 1. And Fulham have 2-2-2'd. I mean, I'm looking at it, actually, you know what? I'm looking at this. That's page 2 of the Premier League, isn't it? This is page 1. Manchester United won 3, lost 4. Just look at that. Man United have lost 4, 9 points, 10th place. Not many other teams have lost 4 games. Comparable to, well, Chelsea haven't lost 4 yet. Fulham certainly haven't. Brentford haven't. Forest haven't. Yeah, it's not looking good. In fact, Man United have lost as many games as Luton. I'm throwing facts here. I'm throwing straight facts. But yes, if Chelsea were to win today, they wouldn't go ahead of Manchester United because we've got 9 points. But if Fulham were to win today, or even draw today, I think they would get that they would be interested as well. Anyway, let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Poch will be gone by Christmas, says Joel. Well, the players are coming out onto the pitch here. And I'm about to go through the team news for you as well, but yeah, it's devastating, isn't it? But if Chelsea were to lose today, 5 points from 7 games, they can't. They just simply cannot afford to lose tonight. This is the Fulham team, though. Let's start off with that: Leno, Castagne, Diop, Ream, Robinson, Reed, Palina, Pereira, and then Wilson, Jimenez and Willian. You know, that's not a bad Premier League side. That is not a bad Premier League side, and it could well get a result. We know that they're capable of it. But Chelsea need a result. How are Chelsea lining up? Sanchez, Disasi, Silva, Colwill, Cucurella, Casido, Gallagher, Palmer, Enzo, Mudryk, Broja. You just never know what you're going to get with Chelsea, do you? It does literally change game to game. So what are your thoughts on it? I'm going to get a little bit of a poll going. Result prediction, we'll call it. Which way are you going to go? Personally, I think I went for a draw on this one. Yeah, and I think I'm going to stick with that. I hate going with a draw, but games do end in a draw. They start in a draw as well, but sometimes they end in a draw too. First super chat of the night is coming in from Robert Lund. If Sir Jim offers of 25% is true, then it will be chaos if they accept it, but I also think it will make Sir Jim react. Sheikh Shazim react. That was from Robert. And let's go Fulham. We need some entertainment from this round, says Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. Right, let me just get rid of that. And start the poll. There you go. There you go. Okay. Let me just send that message. And okay, we're good to go. We're good to go. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please make sure you subscribe to That's Football. Everybody's welcome on here. Podcasts out tomorrow as well. Goldbridge Saves Football. Really, I've already recorded it, so I know what's in it. So you'll know. You'll know tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Goldbridge Saves Football podcast out. Listen to it on the way to school, work, or in bed if you're unemployed or ill. If you're ill, rest up. Right, I'm trying to sort the timer out here. There we go. Liverpool to win the league, Chelsea to win the league. Okay, right. Up the Wolves, huge result Saturday, Mark, says Jack. Yeah, I want to shout out the Wolves. And not those dog things that live wild. I'm talking about Wolverhampton Wanderers. I don't like wolves in the wilds. I used to have bad dreams about wolves, and I might divulge them later, but I'm not willing to back a wolf that basically, and I'm not going to back a sheep in wolf's clothing either, because it's still a wolf. No, but Wolverhampton Wanderers, you did fantastic. Had a thought the other day, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up with Poch at United and Ten Hag at Chelsea in the new year. The media win in the end, says Nick P. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll tell you what's interesting here. I haven't seen this for a while. 53% have gone with a Fulham win and only 25% have gone with a Chelsea win. Is that unprecedented or is it intelligent? Well, we've kicked off here. What's going on? What's going on? I can't. What's going on here? What? All right. Sorry. I'm a little bit confused. What's going on here? I don't know. Let me sort this out. I don't know what I've clicked down here. I've clicked that one there. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. I've sorted it. Don't worry. I'm a live king. I'm not a lion king. I'm a live king. I'm used to solving problems live. Fulham are on the attack here, but Chelsea defends. We're not 43 seconds in. We are good tackle. 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So 54% of you went with the Fulham win, 22% went with a draw, 24% have gone with a Chelsea win. Look, it's interesting, isn't it? My manager, Eric Ten Hag. Happy birthday to Fennick, by the way, who's one of our moderators. Legend. Appreciate that. Chelsea are in. He's got to score. Oh, my life. He does all the stuff. He does all the stuff right there, Broha. Rounds the keeper. There are men on the line, but he blasts it over the bar. I mean, that's just typical of Chelsea in a moment. Like, they do all the good work up to the box, and then he's got a shot on goal. It's not easy. I'd score it, but look, the keeper's out the game. Round the keeper. 3 Fulham players. Bang. Over the bar. I mean, at least hit a Fulham player and block it. I mean, it's not even that hard. I'd have buried that. I don't know what he's doing. Are you Jackson in disguise? Are you Jackson in disguise? Bloody hell. Mario Franco says the way Gary Neville spoke about the VAR topic is laughable. Has he spoken again tonight? What do you mean I wouldn't score it? Have you seen my bloody, on this channel, have you seen my American penalties against Angry Ginge and Thogden? I can finish. Don't you just love football, though? I mean, I think you've got to be a Puritan of football, really. And thanks everyone who's tuning in, because I just love football. And Monday night, under the lights, London Town, Craven Cottage, Fulham, Chelsea. What's not to love about that? I love football. I love it. How's the foot, Andrew G? Chelsea have started off quite well here. It's getting better. It is getting better. I'm just not really doing anything with it at the moment, apart from walking on it and, putting it on the floor and, in the bed. I mean, it's part of me, my foot. I can't, it goes everywhere with me. Imagine Højlund with all the chances we create, says NBA Highs. I'll say it time and time again. I don't really get why they didn't buy a striker. But there we go. Has Neville said anything else? I don't think he was on Monday Night Football, was he? Pereira's gone down injured here. They can't be losing players, Fulham. It didn't look really like Casido did anything wrong there, but he's gone down holding his ankle. All he has to do is get that on target. Give me a contract, Bowley, says J12. Well, look, I don't want to give too much away because I had a right old rant on the podcast, which is out in the morning. But I also had a rant about the 3 o'clock kickoffs as well. That's the next thing I want to try and sort. I never will, but Chelsea have started brightly, says Wazzy's face. And Rajan says, surely at some point Chelsea will click. Well, yeah. I mean, Pochettino isn't a great manager in my opinion, but he's a good manager. And Chelsea have got a lot of good players. So at some point, I believe they will click. I actually think Mudryk is a good player. But Nkunku was the striker Chelsea bought, says J.R. Smith. Nkunku's not a striker, though. I mean, I know all about Nkunku, as does everybody else, because I wanted Man United to sign him, and he's not a striker. He can play as a striker, but he's more of a number 10 attacking midfielder than he is a striker. He might end up doing the job for you, and that might end up being what he does. But let's not forget, Nkunku was bought by... Well, he wasn't bought by Poch. He was bought by... was he bought by Tuchel? It's hard to... I mean, was he bought by Potter? Let's be honest, he was bought by Bowley. I'm sure Nkunku was bought a year before he signed. Think Osman will go to Chelsea, says Bat King. I think they've got to do something. Oh, Chelsea have got a sponsor now. What do they do? Infinite Athlete. Well, it's not going to. They're not going to be a crisp manufacturer, are they? Let's be honest. Must be something to do with fitness. Jem says that Pochettino is definitely better than Ten Hag. I don't know. Different shades of something at the moment. Chelsea win this game convincingly, says Thuzzo. They've started off well. Matthew says Poch is better. Based on what? Poch has been sacked more time than Ten Hag. Look, it's not... I don't know why people are coming at me about Man United. I'd rather talk about the Liverpool situation and general Premier League football, because that's what football is. If you want to come and talk about Man United, it's on the United stand. I don't... I spend a large proportion of my streaming life talking about Man United. I don't mind talking about them if it's something constructive, but I really don't do stuff like Ten Hag's better than Poch or the other way around. I just think it's... there are other watch-alongs that copy me on a basic level that you can go and talk about that sort of stuff. I don't really want to talk about childish stuff like that when we've got bigger issues going on in football that we should all be united about. And that's the only united we should be, is about the terrible state of our Premier League and the incompetence that is costing teams points and destroying the integrity of the world's best league. Utterly disgusted with referees in the Premier League right now, says Logan. Yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. Chloe, thank you very much for your super chat as well. Look, Nicola just said, I hope that the Referees Association don't tamper with the audio that Liverpool want. I'm not 100% sure why Liverpool want the recording of the Diaz onside. What are you going to learn from that? I mean, I've got to say, it's not a criticism, but I don't know. I'd like to know why Liverpool want the recording. Why do they want it? Like, it was onside, they fucked up. So I don't know what that recording does. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear them fuck up, but I mean, Arsenal, it's not the one-off. It's not a one-off. Maybe they want it for their lawyers. I hope so. I hope they're going to sue the shit out of them, really, because I'm not one who wants to see litigation, but I just think that it's highly likely that Liverpool will be close to Arsenal this season, potentially even Manchester City. Look, basically, this is what Liverpool's point will be. And it would be... I'm surprised Arsenal didn't think about it last year. If you're going to win the league from Man City, it's going to be close. And if it's going to be close, you're going to bloody need those 3 points that you didn't get. So you can see why they'd have a moan about it. I worry that refs will overcompensate in Liverpool games, as Miss Jackson. Well, again, it's a great point. It's a great point, Miss Jackson. We saw it with Brighton. Brighton got robbed a couple of times last season, and then towards the end of the season, they got quite a few things go their way. And, that's literally what incompetent people do. If I was a Liverpool fan now, I'd be furious. But I'd also expect you're about to get a few decisions going your way, because that's what incompetent people do. They fuck you over, and then when you call them out, they're so incompetent that they'll start doing you favours as well. Good game, this. Good game. Love the streams. Keep it up, says Football Fan. Thank you very much. Quite an open game, which I think plays into Chelsea's hands. Here's Enzo Fernandez driving forward. Nice ball into Mudryk. He might get a shot off. He will get a shot off. It's wild. It's wild. That should be in a David Attenborough documentary. Wild by Mudryk. Wild by Broha. They've both blasted shots way over the bar. They'll have to get the Thames Rescue Service house to get these balls back. Oh my God. I mean, that's not even... I mean, these balls are beautiful as well. You know these balls that they play with? I basically have got a Europa League ball that I was gifted. I think it was a joke. Break your foot on it, right? Ben Foster gave me an official Premier League ball from last year. You can pass it into the top corner. These balls are amazing. Like, they are so good. Talk about giving talented players better balls. Like, the ball you play with on a Saturday won't be anywhere near as good as these. They're amazing. I don't know how they put them over the bar so often. Thank you for talking about refs from a Liverpool fan, says Doogie. I'm happy to... I'll do it all night. I'll do it all night. Mark, do you hate Gary Neville? Adam, I keep getting asked this all the time. In what way do I hate anybody? And in what way do I hate Gary Neville? I don't hate Gary Neville at all. He probably hates me because I call him out a lot, but he's in the public eye. And I think that if you want to say something publicly, as has happened to me many times, and I'm not as big as Gary Neville, you're going to get called out if you say something controversial or that people don't agree with. I don't hate Gary Neville. I don't hate him at all. I know for a fact he doesn't pretty much like me, but I think that says a lot about, he likes to get his own way. He doesn't like to be challenged, but I don't hate him. He's a legend of Man United, Lovely turn by, I think it was Gallagher there, out to Palmer. Lovely skill by Palmer. Lovely cross into Conor Gallagher. Another good cross. Fulham are a little bit... I mean, this is a good start from Chelsea. What are your expectations for the Arsenal-Man City match this weekend, says Anne. Arsenal win. I don't want to put pressure on Arsenal, but they've got to win that game. Man City without Rodri, something ridiculous. Like, they've only won 5 of their last 15 without Rodri. Whereas, with him, they've only lost 5 of their last 70 or something like that. So, Arsenal have got to win that game for the league, for the Premier League. Can confirm that the ball just landed in my backyard in Australia, says J12. Start, bench, sell, Rashford, Grealish, Matoma. Love the content, Mark. At the moment, start, bench, sell, Rashford, Grealish, Matoma. Hold on, let's just see what happens with this Chelsea attack. No, there's an offside. Start, bench, sell, Rashford, Grealish, Matoma from Shocks. Start, Matoma, bench, Grealish, sell, Rashford. On form at the moment, yeah. Mark, I respect your football opinions. What are we going to do with this VAR stuff? I can't believe what went down at Spurs, says Fish. Seeing how together Liverpool players were and how they held their heads up after the Spurs game was amazing. They look ready to keep pushing City. Oh, Jay, they look good. They do look good, and they'll take a lot from that injustice as well. Hi, Mark. Hope you're well. Loving the streams. Keep it up, says Football Fan. Thank you very much, mate. And would foreign refs make a difference in the officiating? Would they actually be allowed to officiate the way they wanted? Podcast discussion, maybe, says Lee Berman. Well, 2 questions there, basically about officiating, one from Fish and one from Lee Berman. It's interesting, isn't it? If you listen to the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football, I actually have been talking about VAR. Well, I've been talking about VAR for a long time on here. But this weekend kicked off and everyone's on the bandwagon now, quite rightly. But I've been aware about these problems and talking about them for a long time. And people have been saying, cry more, Goldbridge, Imona. And I'm like, it's not about United, it's about the general state of football. And it's interesting what Lee said, because I'm watching a Premier League game here. Polina is running the midfield for Fulham. Enzo is running the midfield for Chelsea. This teams of Fulham and Chelsea are full of foreign imports, and the Premier League is the better for it. If we just had to watch British players and we couldn't use foreign players, the quality of the league wouldn't be as good. And yet, all the officials are British. So we've got a league full of foreign players, but we don't recruit the best referees. And we all know that the British referees are not the best referees in the world. There are better referees in Europe. So why don't we recruit people from other leagues? Because we're bigoted? Because it's a dictatorship? We're arrogant? I don't know. But nobody wants to have this conversation. And I mentioned it on the podcast about a month ago. I said, why don't we recruit referees from abroad? And I tell you what, they'll get a lot more respect straight away. You know, imagine there's a really good Italian referee, right? He comes into the Premier League. He will not have a friendly relationship with the players. And he comes in as a specialist. I think we should be doing that. Why don't we do that? Yeah, people would rather talk about getting Gabby and Bonglahor in Stockley Park. I'd rather get my cat. You know, all this we need ex-players. God, we bloody well don't. We need ex-players. We need ex-players in the Stockley Park. We need ex-players who've played the game. We bloody well don't. Most of the ex-players we listen to are full of shit. We don't need ex-players in there. You don't need to be an ex-player to know what the game is. Most of us have played football. The problem is, most of the officials probably haven't played football because they haven't got a bloody clue. No Rodri, De Bruyne, Silverstones, Arsenal got a win, says Miss Jackson. And Robert says, why don't the Premier League have the same offside technology as the one in the Champions League and World Cup? It was so good and automatic, says Robert Lund. Yes. I've played the game, says Fennick. The problem with football at the moment is it's a dictatorship. They listen to the same people all the time. You know, you get Howard Webb kissing arse of Gary and Carragher, like they're the bloody prime ministers of football, and they talk as much crap as anybody else. The common sense approach is to run, you know, a democracy in football where everybody is entitled to their opinion and things are put to a vote. I mean, why can't fans vote on what they want for football? Did we vote for VAR? No, we didn't. It was implemented and forced upon us. Did we vote for 10-minute games at the end of 90 minutes? No, we didn't. We're the people that fund football but have no say in it. It's ridiculous. Mark, are there any referees you like more than others, says Jack? Well, it's funny. You know when I did the Sidemen charity game, I always used to call Mark Prattenberg, and he's actually a really nice guy. And we were having a couple of chats, and he said on a couple of occasions he doesn't like VAR, and he was quite a popular referee. He says, I don't like VAR. So, you know, you might find that there are some referees that don't even like VAR. The VAR decision at Spurs highlights to me how important independent voices like yours are, Mark. Glad to have you fighting for football, says SD. I know it's Fennick's birthday. I've already said happy birthday to him. Good cross into the box by Fulham, headed away by Chelsea. God, they need a win. They really do, don't they? Cucurella playing at right back's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's good enough to do it. I'd like to see officiating like the rugby, yes. I agree with... somebody just said it in the chat. Hold on a minute. It's Mudryk! And he scores for Chelsea! They've started the game well. And they've scored the game as well. Mudryk scores. They've looked a little bit different tonight. You're not dreaming. Mudryk scores for Chelsea. And they've just looked different tonight, Chelsea. They've actually looked like there's a bit of rhythm. There's a bit of chemistry. You know, I'm rather jealous as a Man United fan, actually. They've moved the ball quickly and intelligently in the final third, and they've stretched Fulham. And if you are a United fan like me, this is Chelsea who are struggling. Look how quickly the ball goes out wide there. You never see United stretching teams like this. It's a lovely ball. I don't know who plays that ball, by the way, for Chelsea. I'm just going to get a name, who it was. I think it's Colwill. Lovely goal. Colwill with the pass. One of the passes of the season. Oh, it's delightful. It's an absolutely delightful assist. Unbelievable. Casido to Colwill. Quick transition. Brilliant goal. That's how you stretch teams. Could be 2-0 here. Chelsea are in again. Broha. 2-0. Own goal. Wow. What's going on in the Premier League? You just can't predict it. 54% of you said that Fulham would win this game. After 20 minutes, Chelsea are 2-0 up. Mistake by the defender. Broha put some pressure in. I don't know whether it's an OG. He's not celebrating like he's scored it. It's a mistake at the back, but Fulham have imploded and Chelsea have exploded. It's 2-0. Mario Franco says, I actually believe that the blame doesn't rest solely on the referees, as the rule in that rule book are just ambiguous. They change them every year. Thank you, Mario. I'm just looking at this back again. Fulham trying to play out from the back. Palmer puts the pressure on the Fulham defender, plays Broha in. It does go in off Broha. It's deflected. The defender kicks his foot out to block it into Broha, who ends up finishing it without knowing. 2-0 to Fulham. Chelsea are on fire here. So quickly that we didn't really get to say what an assist that was on the first goal. Well, I'm going to tweet it anyway. What an assist on the first goal by Colwill. I think I've got him in my fantasy Premier League team. Really good goal from Chelsea, the first one. And, you know, I'm sure that that will get a lot of Chelsea fans pumping. Tusa says, I told you they'll win convincingly. Wow, it's all about... They've just moved the ball really quickly, Chelsea. And, you know, I see Spurs and Brighton and Villa and Man City and Liverpool and Arsenal. And that's the way you've got to play the game now. You know, it's no surprise that all those teams are up there. That's how you've got to play the game now. This is the problem Man United have. Chelsea scored because of their sponsor, says Omar. It's hard to see a win. It's hard to see a way back for Fulham, isn't it, really? But Chelsea have played really, really well. They'll be looking for more goals here. Tell you what, though, this Colwill, he's on a different bloody level. He's on a different level. I mean, like, he should be starting for England. Mark, you missed the last super chat, but I'm trying again. Do you have contact to iShowSpeed, and did you see his Signbend video? DK, I can't remember how I used to get in contact with him. And I haven't seen his video, no. I have been in contact with him before. I can't remember how we used to do it. It might have been Twitter DMs or something like that. I'm a Tottenham fan, and I find it frustrating that we haven't been given any recognition for winning, and it almost feels like a loss, says Stefan. I was talking about this today, Stefan. I was doing a video with Ben Foster, and I said, you know what? Spurs have almost ended up being having an injustice as well. Spurs are the victim as well. Like, of course, the obvious victim is Liverpool, 100%. They are. Liverpool were completely and utterly robbed, and it's an injustice. But so are Spurs. Like, Spurs are a victim. They didn't call it offside. They didn't put the red card out, and they have been in, you know. But I suppose as a Spurs fan, you just go, well, we won the game. We won the game. But, you know, I think all football fans should be having a say on this. Luton could be 10th on Saturday, says Ian. And hi from the USA, says Michael. 15 years ago this month, I visited London to see Fulham v Derby. Fulham had an American defender starting that day. Who was it, Michael? 15 years ago. I remember Clint Dempsey being there, but he wasn't a defender. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, get involved with That's Football. You're all very welcome. 14,000 of you, legends. Many imitate, but they're not as great as the That's Football community. They haven't got the brains, basically. They watch me and they go, I can do that. And they end up just being a shit, thick imitation of it with a different accent. It was Spectre who... Well, if it was Spectre, he used to be at Man United. Jonathan Spectre. We had him at Man United. Ginger hair. Nothing wrong with that. Palmer's cooking, says Sauce. Carlos. It was Carlos Boca. I can't pronounce that. I don't want to get it wrong, Michael McDaniel, but I know who you mean. What was for dinner? Spaghetti bolognese, just Kevin. Spaghetti bolognese. I had a cracking stream today. Make sure you watch it later. Goldbridge career mode. It was what, you know, I basically it was my Pochettino stream. I had to come out and win some games. And after Friday's debacle, we're sort of back on track. I don't think I'm out of the woods yet, but I can see daylight. Could still be a bloody bear behind the tree, but I'm doing all right at the moment. Palmer's got 2 assists in 2 starts, apparently, according to I Spanked Carly. Hope she's all right. Are Fulham missing Mitrovic, says Alan. Well, no, I just think that with Fulham, it's about, you know, who are you? And obviously they're Fulham. But I'll tell you what, I was asked a great question today. What animal is Fulham's mascot? Should amateur ref replace Premier League ref, says Tuna? No. But no, I think with Fulham, they're probably a mid-table team. You look at the players that Fulham have got and the players that Chelsea have got. Basil got it straight away. He says he's a badger. Billy the Badger. It's not a ferret. Up the beaver. It's not a woolly mammoth, Liam. It's not a walrus. It's not a lion. That's Chelsea. It's a badger. It's not Michael Jackson, although there used to be a statue of Michael Jackson outside Fulham. It's a shame that Jackson of Chelsea's suspended, otherwise there would have been a statue inside the stadium as well. Chelsea on the attack again. Leno gets hold of it. Lewis Darling said, would you be talking about it if it was Burnley versus Fulham and not Liverpool versus Spurs? I would. I presume you're talking about the offside and the red card. I would. 100%. If you listen to my podcast, you'd know I would. Goldbridge Saves Football is exactly for that sort of thing. Last Tuesday's podcast, I spent the first 10 minutes moaning about getting rid of VAR. Either I can see into the future or I moan about all the injustices, one of which was the handball that Wolves had against Luton, which I thought was a fucking disgrace. So I don't care whether it's Liverpool or Spurs and Liverpool are being robbed, or whether it's Wolves against Luton and Wolves are being robbed. Unfortunately, you are right in a way. It does have to be a big televised game for everybody to take notice, but they should have been taking notice of other decisions that we've already had this season, which are a bloody disgrace. And you're right, people don't take notice if it's Wolves Luton, but they should do. And I'm glad it's happened in a massive game because it's been going on for a long time. And that's why I've got behind Liverpool, because it's not about Liverpool, it's about football, and it's about football fans, which I love, and injustice, which I hate. Chelsea on the break. It's a 4v3. It's going to be 3. Palmer, he's come onto his left foot. Got it wrong. Enzo, over the bar. Bloody hell, Chelsea players. Stop shooting over the bar. Hi, Mark. What do you think about Chelsea seeking a £500 million loan from US financial institution for more transfers? Adrian, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How much more money do they need to spend? Eggy says, am I dreaming or did Mudryk score? You're not dreaming, he did score. Bloody hell, look at that from Fernandes as well, way over the bar again. Guess what animal is on the Newcastle badge? Ooh, Christopher, what animal? It's a magpie. It's a bloody magpie. That's their nickname, the Magpies. They're shits. They're horrible birds, they are. They are. It's a seahorse, apparently. What the fuck? Right, I'm going to have a look at this. Newcastle badge. Every time I go to type in, it always goes you. No, I'm not telling you what. Newcastle badge seahorses. What the fuck? Oh, yeah, you're right. Why? 2 mythical seahorses shaded in green with gold manes. The motto 45. Oh, it's bloody Latin, isn't it? Triumphing from by brave defence was adopted during the Civil War. Oh, fuck knows what that's all about. Yeah. Well, it's your history. What does Dermot Gallagher think of the decision? Says Dean. I can't even do Dermot Gallagher's impression anymore because it's comedy. It's a sitcom. 500 million is for the stadium developments as NBA highs. There we go. Mike Keegan's put a tweet out. Let me have a quick look. Keegan, what you got to say? What you got to say, Keegan? He says this. He says, as revealed, Sir Jim is considering lodging offer for minority stake in Manchester United. Would leave Glazers in control and may not go down very well with fans. Understand Sir Jim remains committed to 100% buyout. Okay. Yeah, do one. Do one. It's written in the stars, million miles away. Well, why do Newcastle have a link with Magpies then? Is that just because they wear black and white? I don't like magpies. I mean, I've got nothing against birds, but I don't like magpies. Thieving little shits. And they're noisy. And they're up themselves. Let's be honest. Do you get magpies where you live? They are proper gobby little shits. And they've got a silly hop. They hop around like this, going... They bully other birds. They steal things. Ugly bastards. And it's not about looks. They're the sort of bird that would peck your eyes out if they had half a chance. I'll tell you what, I would love an eagle to come and have a fight with a magpie, because it wouldn't even be a fight. I'd love a magpie to be there, giving it the big un, picking on a little sparrow or a little robin, and then an eagle comes down and just picks it up and goes and throws it. One over there and one over there. Do one. Why is Frank Lampard on Monday Night Football? He was a crap manager, says Aston Villa 7, Liverpool 2. Because Frank Lampard's a bit like, remember that? He's like Ollie Murs, basically. Is Ollie Murs actually any good at music, or is he a manufactured person who came off X Factor? It's a bit like Lampard, really. He's a celebrity. He's a celebrity football manager, isn't he now? He's not actually good at it. He's just an ex-footballer who, pretends to be a manager. Hi from USA. I mean, very good footballer. Very good. You know what? Actually, I retract what I've just said. Lampard's quite intelligent if he just sticks to punditry. Just don't start managing. I from USA. 15 years ago this month, I visited London. We've done that one, Michael. Done that one. Thank you very much. We miss Harry Bain. I've been swooped by a magpie before, says J12. I'm scared of frogs. Horrible creatures, says Alex. I'm a bit indifferent towards frogs. Because I quite like that song by Paul McCartney. The Frog Chorus. I used to love it when I was a kid. I had it on VHS. Bom, 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 if I watched it now, it would depress me because it reminds me of being about 4. But, yeah. I'm not really bothered about frogs. Magpies are here also, and they try to attack you if they think you're a threat to their nest, says Man United Hodge. They're little shits. Birds I do like. Bluebirds, blue tits. That's a bird. Don't start thinking about frosty nipples. Bluebirds, blue tits. I quite like robins. They remind me of Christmas. And I like eagles. I do like eagles. But magpies would definitely be in my 3 worst birds. Crows, magpies, and chaffinch. No, pigeons. They're right. Yeah, pigeons. Definitely pigeons. Owls are good. Ryan Powell, yeah. Pigeons are rats with wings. Yeah. I can't stand pigeons. Thick, little... No, not little, are they? Thick, grubby, stinky twats. Seagulls. I don't mind seagulls. They are horrible, but I respect the fact that they, you know... Can you name all the nicknames of the Premier League teams? Says Shippo. You know, if you'd asked me to do this when I was 14, we used to play this at school. Arsenal are the Gunners. Chelsea. Are Chelsea the Lions? Maybe all Chelsea needed was a sponsor on their shirt, says Nick P. My mate Joe looks like a pigeon, says Pally. Yeah, we've done the Mike Keegan thing, Rory. You're way too slow. Everton are the Toffee Men. A lot of them have a number of nicknames. What's Man City's? Don't know. The Citizens. Would you do a day in the life vlog, says Matthew? If I could be asked. I think Spurs is Spurs, isn't it? That's their nickname, Spurs. Tottenham. Spurs. Obviously, Southampton used to be the Saints. I need to look at the Premier League here. Let's get the league table up and let's go top 10. So you've got Man City, Citizens, Spurs, Gunners, Liverpool, the Reds, Villa, Villains, Brighton. Must be something to do with the Seagulls. West Ham, the Hammers, Newcastle, Magpies, or the Toon. Crystal Palace, Eagles, Man United. I've got plenty of nicknames, none of them nice. Red Devils, Chelsea, the Lions, Forest. Don't know. And I'm from Nottingham. Is it? I think it might be like Liverpool, the Reds. Fulham. And I don't want to say this in a sex way. Cottagers, I think. I'm sure cottaging means something. I don't know what it means. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what it means. Brentford, the Bees, I think. Wolves, obviously Wolves. Everton, the Toffee Men. Luton, the Hatters. Bournemouth, Cherries, Cherry Men. Burnley. I don't know Burnley. Sheffield United are the Blades. I don't know Burnley. Why don't I know Burnley? I don't know what Burnley is. Goldie versus Magpies on a beach in Mallorca with the fruit seller giving commentary. Mark's Nightmare, says Kay. Clarets. Yes, the Clarets. That's only one. That's it. Did I get... Is there anything else I didn't get? It's the Clarets, yes. I think I'm just that. Chelsea are the Pensioners. Okay. Spurs is the Bottlers, says Sebastian. Well, they're doing all right at the moment. I think I did quite well on there. Goat on fire, 16 goal assist in last 9 games. Viva Ronaldo, to the Outlaw Gaming. Oh, mate, I would rather count how many goals Ronaldo scores on my EAFC career mode than what he scores in the Saudi League. I don't count it. He's become Pele and his 1,000 goals. I love Ronaldo, but I'm not counting goals in the Saudi League. I just think it's what Pele did, isn't it? You're adding goals on. Same with Messi in the MLS. I don't think they should count. Controversial bridge, but I don't think they should count. I think your goals should be at the highest level. You know, playing in Europe, the Champions League. I don't think they count when you go in the MLS or the Saudi League. Everyone will say, well, of course it does. But it's just my opinion. Thoughts on Premier League where if you lose to Luton, you automatically get relegated, says Alex. I quite like it. They used to do that in wrestling. Chelsea are very comfortable here at the moment. Fulham just can't find a way through. And Chelsea do defend well. I quite like that, you know, because I remember when I used to be into wrestling years ago, the Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage had this fight where the loser had to retire. Imagine if you did that in football. Lose to Luton and you get relegated. Did you ever do the Ronaldo in Vegas research, as Corey? No, I don't really want to, if I'm being honest. I don't normally bury my head in the sand, but I suppose with that, I probably have done a little bit. Chelsea players just gone for a shot from their own half. Dave says Chelsea are looking better than Man United, which is sad. In fairness to Chelsea, even under Potter, they were playing good football. They just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Under Lampard, they were shits, but it's not a surprise to me. I've said it for ages. I'm sure any Chelsea fan would say it, or anybody who's watched Chelsea would say it. If you put a striker in that team, they're quite good. They defend well. They just don't score goals. Got some difficult games, Chelsea, coming up though. I mean, I said this the other week. They really do need to win tonight, and I think next game, because after that they've got Burnley on Saturday, and then after the international break they've got Arsenal, Brentford, Spurs, Man City, Newcastle, Brighton, Man United. So they play Man United, Brighton, Newcastle, Man City, Spurs and Arsenal all in a row. Shouldn't count in PSG then, says Oscar. Thoughts on Rice's start at Arsenal, Mark, says Dan. I think he's done well. Arsenal fan, but I hope to see Leicester back in the Premier League, says Logan. Oh, Leicester are gonna fly back into the Premier League. Easy. I've got my Scooby-Doo pyjamas on. Super Gran. What's your favourite pizza topping, says Luke. Oh, now I'm going to divide opinion. I actually really like ham and pineapple. I really do like ham and pineapple. I've spoken about the Sir Jim news, mate. I spoke about it on the United stand about an hour and a half ago. And I spoke about it on here about 20 minutes ago. Change the topic. Who scored the goals, says HM. Broha, second goal. And Mudryk, first goal. Delightful assist by Colwill. Plans on playing any other games other than EAFC, says Adrian. Oh, I mean, I'll definitely play Grand Theft Auto when it comes out. But I might be 50 by the time that happens. Literally. AGM says, I've got those pyjamas too. We should make out. Love your content, Mark. Can you give me an impression, says Aidan. What of? Let him speak, Simon. That's what Mark Goldbridge is, my daddy, said. Let him speak, Simon. I've played the game. Zippy. Oh, I wish I could do a Zippy. Oh, Ronnie Pickering. I'm Ronnie Pickering. Can't even do that anymore. I like fruit on food. So I like apple sauce with my pork. I like cranberry sauce with my turkey. I like what else do I like? Mango chutney with my curry. I do. I like it. You know, I like it. Pineapple with my gammon. Yeah. Gregory, I'm not saying this again because I don't know what it means. So basically, he uses the word edge and then you insert it with I to your videos, but you put the word edge in between I and to your videos. I don't know what it means. So this was happening on my stream earlier and people were laughing about it, but I don't know what it means. Favourite pub in Solihull, says Bradley. Well, I'm not going to tell you my favourite because people will start going there. But I do like the Masons. I do like the Masons. It's an honest pub where you can watch the football, have a drink on the high street. And that is in Solihull. So, yeah, I can actually do that, yeah. I like the Masons. What's your go-to at the Indian, Mark, says Tom? Butter chicken, tikka masala. I love chicken pakora. Corner to Fulham. All right, now I know what it means. Thank you very much. There, dear. He's on the brink, basically, and not in a mental health way. It's rude. Disgusting. Exactly, Aimer. Disgusting. Do you think Stoke will make it back to the Premier League, and why are they your club to diss comparison? Says Caleb. Nothing against Stoke. I'd never want to live there, and but I think Stoke are a go-to because of what they were like in the Premier League. Everyone took the piss out of them. They were negative and boring, and that's why people use Stoke in jokes. Mark, chicken pakora is elite version of chicken nuggets. You are right, Soham. You are absolutely right. They are lovely. And I do diss Norwich a bit as well. Oh, Robert Sanchez diving through the air. Aidan, thank you very much for your super chat. Bacon in your spaghetti bolognese or your lasagna is lovely, unless you're a vegetarian, in which case it probably isn't. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. Got no idea how we're doing at the moment because we're nearly at 33,000. 1,033,000. We're only 100 away. So bottom right hand corner to subscribe, and we could hit that tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Legends of always. Everybody's welcome. Chelsea on the break again. They need to switch the play here. Colwill. I think he's going to go alone. He gives it to Broha, who's done really well, and Fulham have defended well there. I think Fulham need to be a little bit careful that they don't sort of allow this game to become what happened to Brighton the other day, where they get absolutely hammered. They've got to be careful. It's written in the stars, 1,000,000 miles away. Me. I am doing a watch-along tomorrow night. Man United Galatasaray on the United stand. And then Wednesday night I'm back on here for Newcastle PSG, which I'm really looking forward to, actually. Be an interesting game, that. And it's half-time. Half-time. Pochettino grabs Modric. Gives him a hug. Nothing more. Nothing more. It wasn't that type of a thing. And they'll be very happy with the scoreline at half-time. Chelsea leading 2-0. Considering Broha had such a big injury, his first game back, he looks very comfortable, says Joey. And what's your favourite Beatles song? I think the Beatles are overrated. I've said this before. Philip Billing is the Invisible Man. Says, I can't believe that. I couldn't believe that. I really couldn't. Mark, Cole Palmer has got a great ceiling, says Himanshu. What have you been doing looking at his ceiling? Bloody hell. Fulham need the Invisible Man, Mark, says Farms. And if Everton get relegated, does the building of Stanley Park drag them down further, says Mercury. I like Sean Dyche, but I think he needs to get out of Everton, and they need to change their style of football. My mate Joe struggles with women, Mark. Any tips, says Pally. Oh, God. What was it? I was thinking about this the other day. Don't use this, but I was thinking about... what was it? You might have heard this before, but it was a chat-up line that one of our mates used to use all the time. And he did always used to end up with somebody, but it was literally, if there was 50 women in the club, he would ask 50 women in the club, and his basic mathematics was that if you ask 100 people for a dance, 7 of them will say yes. And we used to say, but the 7 that say yes might not be that appealing, if you know what I mean. And he'd go, I don't really care. So he had this chat up line, which you've probably heard it before. I'd never heard it before. His chat up line was, let me get this right. I'm trying to think about it. No, I can't remember how it went. I'm disappointed in myself there. Don't stalk women, says King Kong. Exactly not. It was something like, do you want to come to a party? Obviously, they had to say yes. And he'd go, good, because there's a party in my pants and I've got a dancing pole you can wrap your thighs round. Yeah, that was sort of our reaction to it. I mean, you're not going to get Susanna Reid or, Fiona Bruce or... and they're probably a bit old for a lot of you lot. Actually, they're well into the 50s. I'm trying to think of classy women aren't going to go for that, are they? Really? But you never know. Give it a try. Worst case scenario, end up with a smack. Gilling Construction, thank you very much for joining for your super chats. Let me speak, Simon. I've got a yellow. Let me speak, Simon. I've got a yellow tie. It's transfer deadline day, says Yannick. And don't give that a try. I don't think it will work on anybody ever. You could say it, but you know what? That was a chat up line from probably 25 years ago. And although it was very much aimed at women, when you think about it, I've got a party in my pants and I've got a pole you can wrap your thighs around. It's actually diverse now because it would work with her, him, and them. So, yeah, it's if you want to use it, at least it's diverse. What did I just come into? It says X. Mate, we were just talking about somebody needed some help with women, and I just remembered about one of the worst chat-up lines I've ever heard that my one of my friends used to... Well, not a friend now. But there we go. Right, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've got any... This is a roll-on from Agony Bridge, isn't it? If you've got any questions or stuff, we're here to help as a community. It is half-time. Chelsea are playing fantastically well. They're 2-0 up. Finally, Chelsea have arrived. Finally, Chelsea have delivered. And they've looked very good. Fulham have looked toothless. I think they do miss Mitrovic. I think that's going to be a problem for them this season, the same as it's going to be a problem for Brentford without Ivan Toney. But... yeah, they're a bit toothless, Fulham, and Chelsea seem to have found their teeth. Anthony says, greetings from Uganda. You should come visit, says Anthony. What, Uganda or you? And would you give Son player of the match? Player of the month, says Antarctic. Yeah, I think he's good. And also got another super chat here. We'll never hear the end of it from Astrid on Twitter, says Andrew. I never see it, and there's a reason for that. You see what you interact with, so don't interact with it. What? Mark, that top is awful, says Dan. It's absolutely fine. It's actually one of my pyjama tops. It used to be quite a nice t-shirt, but it's a bit worn now. Silky Slim says, if we can hold on and not blow this lead to Fulham, we'll pass United in the table. No, you won't. I hate to say it, but you won't, mates. You've drawn me into an argument. This is the top 10. Man United in 10th with 9 points. This is the bottom 10. Chelsea in 11th with 8 points. So United are still ahead of you. You've got a better goal difference and you've lost less games, but we would still be ahead of you, which just shows you how bad a start to the season you've had. In relation to the possession... I mean, look, I didn't even know the possession stats, but it's there for you. Possession has been pretty much similar, but look at Fulham. No shots on target. Chelsea have had 2 on target and 5 altogether. Fulham have had 4 corners, but there's just no threat from Fulham, is there? There's not a massive disparity between the teams, apart from the threat that Chelsea present, and Fulham don't. LGBT is going to cancel you, Mark. Watch out, says Ock. What for? What for? They'll have a bloody job. You can't cancel people who are actually not against them. How many friends do you still see from school, says Colin? Well, I'm not really happy with my school days because I used to go to 2 till comprehensive. And I'm sorry that they haven't produced anybody as... popular as me. A lot of people don't like me, but the popularity is still bigger. And there's no statue. I've not even been invited to do a talk. And I've looked at their website, and they've got a section called famous ex-students, of which I'm not there. They've got a bloody scientist. I mean, God knows what they've done. What have they done for the world? And a bloody crap cricketer. So I sort of resent my time at school because at the very least there should be a statue. But yeah, so they can basically swivel on it. I'm looking for a new school, basically. If you want me to make if you want me to make me an honorary president of your school, get in contact. Vivek says, I've been saying this, Ben. Dublin's where I'm from, really. I'm claiming that. If the Irish want me, been saying this. Ben Foster agrees with me. We threw 6 points and are still level with United. Our only problem is attack. United struggling defence, midfield, attack. Would rather be us than you, says Vivek. And how do you think Hull City are doing compared to last season, Mark, says Luke? I would say that Hull City are doing exactly the same this season as they did last season, because I haven't got a bloody clue what they did last season or this season. Ignorant Bridge. I don't know I don't even know what league Hull are in. I'm gonna say take a guess that you were in the Championship last year and you got relegated, and now you're trying to get back in League One. That's a complete and utter guess. When I feel down, I always watch your videos to get a bit of a laugh, says Reckon. So thanks for that. What do you do when you're under the weather? If I'm under the weather, I moan. Yeah. Look, I've said it before. I'm human. I'm not perfect. My farts smell. Hate to say it. And most mornings I'm in a really bad place. I don't feel great in the morning. I don't know whether everybody else feels like that, but I don't attack the day like Gary. I don't wake up and smell under my quilts and go, ooh, beautiful, and get up. I'm really not great in the morning. I never have been. You need to donate more to your school to get a statue. Maybe fund a new Goldbridge Hall, says David. Thank you very much. And what are your thoughts on Broher, Mark, says Adam. It's interesting people talking about Broher, because I remember that, where was it he scored goals, Broher? It's been in my head for a while. Why? What? He was scoring goals. Was it Southampton? Did he score goals at Southampton, Broher? Yes, thank you, Global Space Clip. So he's always been a player that has sort of, in Chelsea's search for a striker, he's only 22, and people have sort of, shouted him out and said maybe. But look, he isn't what they need. Like, he might be what they use now, but he isn't what they need. They need something world class. But if he can be a stopgap until Christmas and New Year, they will go and buy. Yes. Hull are 5th in the Championship, Mark, and they're doing well, says Tom. I'll tell you what, Hull, I respect you now. Hull are 5th in the Championship. I think Hull's another shithole, isn't it? Didn't Jack get in trouble for that, Jack, mate? I literally cannot assess Hull because I don't know where it is. And I'm bloody good at geography, but I don't know where it is. So it would be wrong of me to say anything bad about Hull because I don't know where it is. I don't know where you are in the league, and I don't know where you are on a map. If somebody said you've got no sat nav, drive to Hull, I would be. I'm probably going to go north. Is it? But you know what? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, Hull. But well done for being 5th. You were in the Premier League once, I think. You were in the Premier League once, yeah. Dean Windass. It's near Mordor, says Up. So Jim Glazer's out, says Adaz. Yeah, it's rumbling, isn't it? It's 2 hours north of Nottingham, and it's above Grimsby, a place I don't know where that is either. This is no good. There are places in England I don't know where they are. Grimsby, Hull, Scarborough, Carlisle. Give me another one. To Hull and back, Only Fools and Horses is a brilliant episode, Barry. You're absolutely correct. That's the only thing I know about it. Middlesbrough is worse than Hull. Do you get polar bears in Hull? Because I'm not coming if you do. And it's close to Leeds, says Yannick. Massive respects for your comments on Gary Neville regards VAR, says FPL. The funny thing about Gary is he will have seen that and it will really annoy him, because normally if it's about something else he would reply, but he'll never reply to that because he'd be worried about the proper debate that would take place. and he can't put himself into situations where he might be publicly seen to lose. So he will have seen the reaction to it, whether it's from me or Liverpool fans or whatever, but he won't respond to it because he's terrified of, being put into a situation where he has a proper debate that's not scripted and recorded. It's in Yorkshire, says Alex. Football fan, thank you very much. But ultimately, I thought that, in general, the response to the Liverpool injustice on Saturday night was universally very good from the mainstream pundits. Jamie Redlap. Don't know who's had on his lap to have a red lap. But Jamie Redknapp, Carragher, they are ex-Liverpool players, Neville, they were all on it, saying it's not acceptable. And then 24 hours later, he puts out an angry tweet with exclamation marks about Liverpool shouldn't be doing this and they should be accepting the apology. I'm like, hold on a minute. As I said, you're not King Gary, Lord of Football. You're just somebody with an opinion. And if you put an opinion like that out with exclamation marks on it, you're going to get people's back up. And I have seen some United fans saying, Goldbridge, why are you sticking up for Liverpool? I'm like, hold on a minute. I love football. That's football is huge. It's a massive community. It's got 1.3 million subscribers. It's growing all the time. The podcast is about general football as well. I'm a Man United fan. The United stands about United, but I watch a lot of football. I take a lot of time watching a lot of other football. I loved Brighton Villa at the weekend. I don't support either team. I just love football. And when I watch a game of football and I see an injustice, I don't care whether they've got a Liverpool shirt, an Arsenal shirt, or a Hull shirt. Although, to be honest, I wouldn't be watching that. I'll call it out. And I think Liverpool's statement was brilliant. I think the fact that they've, said that they want to look into it and look into the options that they've got is brilliant, because it would not surprise me if Liverpool missed out on Champions League football by a point or missed out on a title by a point, in which case they're better to run a legal case now than say at the end of the season, that cost us, we want to do a legal case, because they've got every right to do it. Imagine if Liverpool missed out on the title by a point. Imagine if Liverpool missed out on top four by a point. Well, we know they've just probably been cost one, maybe even three. So if they said at the end of May, right, we're gonna sue the league because of that mistake, they're better off getting their ducks in order now. And also, I think Arsenal should have been ready for that at the end of the season if they'd lost out on the league by a point as well. What are your thoughts on Blackpool, says Callum? I've never gone. I do need to go. We had Harry Maguire before he went to Leicester, says Luke. You did. You had Andy Robertson as well. Thoughts on Enzo Fernandez, says Artium. I do like Enzo Fernandez. I think a lot of people like Enzo Fernandez. So, it's not... he's a good player. Good player. Right, let's get this timer ready for the second half. Mudrik's gone off injured. Aidan says you're a marketing genius. How come? I'd love to know what I'm doing. Mark, I'm with you when I say I'm tired of the Ten Hag out rhetoric in the media. When will the punditry include sensible analysis over testing the water for which shock statements will gain traction, says the SP freely. Hold on a minute. I just need to start the game. Second half has started. Time has started. Right. In relation to the mainstream, can you remember that song when you were a kid? It sounds really dodgy now. There was 10 in the bed and the little one said, roll over, roll over. Like, that's a dodgy song when you think about it. Like, who's in the bed? What's their age? Why am I rolling over? I've got a million questions. There's loads of nursery rhymes like that are dodgy. It could be the song of a nonce. You just don't know. But that's a little bit like what the mainstream is in relation to they're all in the same bed and they all roll over to the same tune. So at the end of the day, the mainstream will never change because the people in power in the mainstream have probably been in power for the last 10, 20, 30 years. They're out of touch and they don't respect football fans. And they maintain the status quo. So you'll very rarely get any... The reason you get one person retire who talks shit and another person come in who talks shit is because it's a conveyor belt of scripted nonsense. Opinions on Bristol, Mark, could have been something. Says Kimmy. Bristol in a footballing sense could have been something. It's been like that all my life. The number of times the PGMOL has apologised for making stupid mistakes is too much. What's the point in VAR if human error is going to occur? Says hashtag football fan, says Mrs. Stone. Brilliant point. Brilliant point. Brilliant point. You know what I think? I mean, look, we're watching a game of football here, which is our first love, isn't it? We love football. That's why we're watching this. But we're talking about a bigger issue here. You know, like, there's many things to go in on, but you know, like, well, for example, people were talking about the Neville tweet. So, you know, Gary Neville's tweet said that Liverpool should accept the apology. These things happen. Move on. I think it was the most antagonising thing to say, right? Because an apology, right? What does that do? And they apologise because they had to. They don't apologise when they don't have to. Like, they've not apologised to Wolves for that handball last week. They haven't apologised to Spurs for not sending Nketiah off. They haven't apologised to Man United for giving a penalty to Arsenal for a handball but not giving it to Man United. They only apologise when they have to apologise. And we all know that. So why should we accept their apology when we know that it's not meant? They're apologising because they got caught. You know, I used to do this as a kid. I'm sure you used to do it, right? I'm not going to get in trouble now. My mum used to buy a packet of chocolate digestives, right? They were from her and my stepdad. We weren't allowed them. We had our own biscuits. But I knew they didn't pay attention to detail. And I knew in a packet of chocolate digestives there was 12. And I knew there was an optimum time where you could take 2. And basically, you didn't do it when it was unopened, because that was obvious. And you didn't do it when there was only 3 or 4 left. Your peak point was between 5 and 10. And you could definitely take 1, but you could probably take 2. If they'd had a couple out the packet, you could definitely take 1 or 2 and they'd never know. But if you left it till there was only 3 or 4 left, you'd get caught. It's not criminality, it's clever, right? I'd take those biscuits and I'd never apologise for it because I knew I'd get away with it. If I'd got caught in the process, I would have apologised profusely because I've been caught. And that is what VAR is doing. So when Gary says we should accept their apology, they're only apologising because they've been caught. It's as simple as that. And also, let's imagine young Goldbridge gets caught nicking that chocolate biscuit and does it again and apologises again. In fact, let's say I do it 4 times and I get caught and I apologise. What does the apology mean if I keep doing it? It doesn't mean anything because I keep doing it. So that's what I mean about the apology. 1, they're only doing it because they got caught. And 2, they've already done it so many times, it doesn't mean anything. So they can stick their apology up their arse. What they need to do is not apologise and change. What are your thoughts on Villa, says football fan? I like them. I like them. I think they're doing really well. There's a lot of likeable teams in the Premier League this year. On a purely footballing sense, I thought last season's Premier League season was brilliant. I really enjoyed last season. But I think this season, if you take away your bias, and I hate it because Man United are shit, but on a purely footballing level, which is what That's Football's all about, and it's what the podcast is all about, I think this season's great. I think last season you had Fulham, Brentford and Brighton, and they were really exciting. This season you've got Villa, Liverpool, Spurs, obviously Arsenal and Man City again, and there is another one, Newcastle and Brighton. And West Ham. Like, there's some teams this year that are just really good to watch, and Villa are one of those. Yeah. Which is why I was so pissed off on Saturday. I was really I wanted to see 11 Liverpool players against 11 Spurs players. And I feel like those biscuits that got nicked when my mum found out. I felt robbed because I was really looking forward to that game. Liverpool Spurs, 11 against 11. I was really curious as to who was going to, and it could have ended in a draw, but I was really curious to find out who the best. It's like Arsenal Man City on Sunday, isn't it? We're all excited, but let's not forget the chances that it gets screwed and ruined by a red card or a bad refereeing decision are actually quite high. And that's what pisses me off. Like, we've got some really good games this season. Villa Brighton was brilliant. Spurs and Liverpool should have been brilliant, and you know what? It would have been brilliant in the 20. You know, before the incidents, before that red card, you could sense it was going to be a good game, and we were robbed of it. If Erik ten Hag can't improve our season and he's replaced by Dijk, what do you think will happen? Jack, Dijk ain't coming to Man United. My throat won't be able to take it. Will Gary and Roy stand with a stupid apology if it costs United those 3 points or 1 point to win the league? No chance, says Mrs. Stone. And did you declare your digestive thievery when applying to join the police, Mark? Shocking, says Matt. I don't think it actually is theft, because actually the definition of theft would suggest that, I can't remember what it was, intention to permanently deprive without permission or something like that. I mean, I don't think it's theft, Your Honour. Hi, Mark. Do you think EAFC 24 will update the Chelsea kit with the new sponsor, says Da Vinci? I'll be honest, I don't care, mate. And if you care, you need to touch grass. I don't care about the sponsors. I care about the playability. Anyway, I was part of the rubbernicking gang. That's worse. The rubbernicking gang. I bet there's nobody in the chat who remembers the rubbernicking gang. I told you that story a couple of years ago. A crime is a crime, says Zippy. Quality Street are the best Christmas chocolate, says Lee. I don't know. I like them Toffifo ones. I like Jimenez and Wilson are coming off, and Iwobi and Vinicius is coming on. Adam Smith says, Mark, I work for Sky Sports in the broadcasting department and heard murmurs of disdain between yourself and Gary Neville. That's why I asked the question. I don't believe you work for Sky Sports, because you could just write any old shit. And it's completely and utterly one-sided. There is a story to be told, but I'm not a bitch in relation to, private matters. And it's 100% not from my side. It basically comes down to arrogance, fear, and something else. Hi, Mark. Just booked my tickets to the Manchester Derby and I can't wait, says Mally. Are you a Man United fan or a Man City fan? You got to watch your rubbers in grade school, Mark, says Chris. It sounds sinister, but I was part of the rubbernicking gang. And it wasn't condoms. It was rubbers that you used to rub out pencils with. We were very good. Then we retired, but we got caught out after retirement. Green Quality Street is incredible. Good shot. Leno makes a save. Links. Yoda says Danecourt would be happy to have you. Mate, Danecourt was down the road. They were our rivals. If Danecourt want to claim me, it's 2-2 loss. Man City are going to win the derby, says Priyanshu. The rubbernicking gang, Goldbridge's dabble in crime. Great video. Should have used your tactics on the women, says Brian Gallagher. I need to bring back going for Goldbridge. I enjoyed it. It's just the time. So busy these days. Cole Palmer's been booked. Hi from Canada. What's your dream car, says Gilling. My dream car's Knight Rider, actually. I just love a car that's a good conversation. Because that should be a goal for Fulham. What's he doing on the back post? Iwobi there. Good cross to the back post, and he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either shoot or pass, and he's done like neither. I don't know what he's trying to do there. Yeah, crap. Yeah, going for Goldbridges, you can rewatch them. They are rewatchable. I enjoy them. I need to just do some more. Have I got a Tesla? No, I don't. I don't want to get a Tesla because everyone who's got a Tesla never fucking shuts up about having a Tesla. And I like people who've got a Tesla, but they never shut up about telling me what it can do. Look at this. Oh, I've only got this much left. You know, when you're in my car, I don't sit there telling you I've only got 60 miles of petrol left. So why am I in your car? Do you have to tell me how much battery you've got left? I don't want to know. It's boring. Oh, look, I can do this automatic driving thing, and I can mess around with this screen that plays music and videos. Yeah, I've got one of those. It's called a fucking phone. You know, I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all. And but I know a lot of people who are, but they don't shut up about it. Oh, look at me, I charge my car on the drive every night. Yeah, I charge my phone in the living room. Yeah, Ash is right. They've all got that range anxiety, haven't they? Oh, I've got to try to Manchester tomorrow. I don't know whether I've got enough battery. Well, I have. I haven't got a battery, I've got fuel. I'll just pull into Esso and fill it up in 2 seconds. Well, I'm not a Red Bull mechanic, but you know what I mean. I'm going to fill my car up in a minute. You've got to stop and charge it up for half an hour or an hour. Yeah, but it's a good time to catch up on the emails. Yeah, you know what else is a good time to catch up on your emails? When I'm home an hour before you. Oh, but think of the environment. Yeah, I am thinking about the environment. I'm thinking about my environment. Red card, red card, red card. No, not given. Well, I've got to go back there. I think you're right. Let's have a look at this. Thiago Silva, Vinicius Jr. whacked him on the back of the head. I mean, come on, that's. Why is that not a red? We'll go back again. I need to see this again. Why are you not on the toots? Alemony Mark, says Ryan. I don't know. He's giving him a yellow card. Thiago Silva's fuming. He's basically come up behind him going like that. Yeah, I can see why it's a yellow. I can see why it's a yellow, but I don't know. You could see it being a red as well, couldn't you? You really could. I certainly think it's more of a red card than Curtis Jones or Gusto. I tell you what, a Fulham goal would make it nice. What's your thoughts on skipping funerals? Says Giovanni. What's that mean? Is that another VAR mistake? You know, you're sending off Curtis Jones and Gusto for a genuine attempt to get the ball where physics has moved their foot into a studded tackle by accident. That's getting reviewed for a red card, but somebody actually hits a player on purpose and it's a yellow card. Jota's first yellow card was a joke tack, but they'll hide behind that and say, we can't review yellow cards. Why can't you review yellow cards? Don't you like the colour yellow? It's a different fucking colour. Why can't you review a yellow card after the game? Absolute knobheads. You know, why can't a yellow card, if somebody gets 2 yellow cards and gets sent off, why can't you review it after the game? Renate says, can we have a poll whether it should have been a red? Yeah, I'm loving that. Red for Fulham, yes or no? Let me know in the chat with the votes. I've done it again. You've done it again. Start poll. There we go. Hi, Mark. I'm currently studying sports and exercise psychology at uni. I'm hoping to become a special needs teacher when I graduate, as my niece has. I can't pronounce this, Daniel. I'm really don't want to get it wrong. His niece has got polymicro. I can't pronounce that. And want to give something back. Well, fantastic, Daniel, what you're doing, and thanks for letting us know that, and all your best with your studies. Love that. Max says we need to defund the PGMOL. This is getting insane. Oh no, I'm not even going to call him the PGMOL anymore. I'm not going to do it. It's a right mouthful, and I don't want to do it. I'm going to call them the referees. I'm not calling them the PGMOL. You're not the BBC. You're not TNT. You're not bloody... You're not having a little bloody collection of letters. You're Referees Association. That's what you are. PG Tips, says Safe, yeah. I tell you what, who remembers those old PG Tips adverts? You won't be able to do that now. Animalist. It was a different time. That's the excuse of anything that we did wrong in the 80s. It was a different time. 3-0. Oh, he's hit the post. 4-0. No, you wouldn't have got twice for that. Who hit the post? Because if that was Colwell, I'm going to cry. No, it wasn't Colwell. It was Matson. What's Animalist? Anything you do bad against animals. Animalist. Cruelty to animals, basically. You've been Tango adverts were good. Broha's down injured here. Hopefully it's nothing too bad. Doesn't look too concerned. Sterling's warming up. Somebody just said if you drink PG Tips, you don't like tea anyway. Please do subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. I'm not. I like a cup of tea, but I mean, I would not know the difference between PG Tips, Tesco, Yorkshire tea. Some people get really into their tea. 65% of you said it was a red for Fulham. 35% say no. Broha's coming off here. Chelsea don't need these injuries, do they? He's walking, so I don't imagine it's anything too bad, but it might be a strain. Oh, Daniel says, no worries, Mark. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it means the folds of her brain haven't developed as they should, and she can't walk, talk, eat or drink, and this is fed through a tube, says Daniel. I mean, look, obviously, Daniel, that's... Thank you for giving us the clarity on it. I mean, I suspected it was going to be something severe. And, you know, I think it's great what you're doing. And good luck with it. Good luck with your studies. Bear X Bear says, it seems to me that the only thing that qualifies someone to be a referee these days is to be a bold middle-aged man. Ooh, there's your boldest. An earthquake has just been recorded in Naples, says Rahul. Well, Pochettino winning tonight will throw the attention back to Ten Hag, you're right, because I think with Pochettino struggling, the press have probably given Ten Hag a bit of an easier ride because it's sort of like, you know, 50-50, whereas I think now they're going to be more focused on Ten Hag if Poch starts doing well. It's a long way back for Chelsea, though. I don't know what Chelsea can achieve this season. I think with Chelsea, it probably at best will be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I can't see Chelsea getting top 4. I really can't. I don't know about anybody else. Thomas Armstrong says, Mark, I'm really looking forward to meeting you at the event next month. Pints after, says Thomas. Depends which one it is. Which event are we talking about? The Skulls one. I like rice pudding. Oh. Tap says he's sad for Broha. He doesn't get any look. Nice ball into Sterling. He's carried on and hit it over the bar. What is it with Chelsea players and hitting the ball over the bar? He's been booked for that. It's about time one of these Chelsea players got booked for shooting. Terrible. I mean, Sterling's only done it once, but their shooting's crap. Still 23 minutes to go here. What's your score on the FPL? I'm going to tell you. I mean, I didn't dare look at mine because when I was at Ben Foster's studio today, they're all taking it very serious and they were all showing off about, oh, I did this. I did my wild card. I got 60 points. What did you get, Mark? Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked yet. 26. Fuck off. Bloody hell. 26 points. That is absolute shite. I thought Maddison got an assist. Fucking hell. Oh, you know what? This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. Right, Sonny says my nan could get 26. Right, so I've got 26 points. Guess how many I've got on my bench? I've got 24 points on my bench. Soucek's on my bench. Colwell's on my bench. And Areola is on my bench. Oh. Can you play a back five on... oh, no, it doesn't matter. You can play a back four, can't you? Fuck a duck. That is shit. Oh, that's so bad. I'm giving up. I'm going to give up. I mean, I have got Colwell's going to come in for Chilwell. I'm going to end up with 36 points. If Fulham don't score. Rubbish. Absolute shit. I'm just going to wild card and copy whoever's top. Hi, Mark. I've been getting a lot of banter for being a United fan. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel, says Lou. Probably not. Probably not. Like a happy nudist, you're going to have to grin and bear it. Yeah, some people have done really well. Oh, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I mean, the fact that I've got two West Ham players on my bench and they got combined 14 points. I didn't put either of them in. Absolutely shite. Oh. My next watch along, by the way, is Wednesday. I'm doing the PSG Newcastle game at Newcastle. What a game that's going to be at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to it big time. Not doing anything on Thursday. I don't do that shit unless Man United are in it. Saturday, I don't know what I'm going to do on Saturday because Man United are playing at 3 o'clock. I don't know whether to do Luton-Tottenham. I might do Luton-Tottenham at 12:30. But it's all about Sunday, isn't it? Double header on Sunday. I'm doing Brighton-Liverpool at 2. And then Arsenal-Man City straight after. What a super Sunday. Double header. Can't wait. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Call the fantasy season of Mark appalling, says Benji. Thank you very much. 62% of you said it should have been a red for Fulham. It's not overwhelming, is it? But there we go. Welsh Wizard. Pereira needs to save my FPL. Sorry. It's the song of the PGMOL, isn't it? By Ronan Keating. Is all that we can say. Shove it up your arse. I've just pinned in the live chat, it's in the video description as well, the link to our podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football. I recorded it this evening. It's going out at 7 o'clock tomorrow. It's really good. If you like football in general, give it a listen. Links in the live chat. You can give it a follow now so you get your notification in the morning when you wake up. Links in the live chat for that. And you can listen to some of our older episodes. Friday was brilliant, by the way. The things we predicted, if I played the lottery, I'd be a millionaire. Louise, Ramsey, Konza, 3 very underrated players, says Dan. Well, I think that I'm going to say this and Southgate should listen. Guehi, Konza, Colwill are 3 centre-backs that should all be in the England squad and all be being given a game time because they're all the future, and people like Harry Maguire and Tyrone Mings are the past, and you should be looking to the future with those players. They're ready to play now. Any tips on being emotional or mentally strong, says Louis. Good take by Sanchez there. Well, I don't know about that, Louis. I mean, I'm here to help, Agony Bridge. I think emotional intelligence is more important than emotional and mental strength. And emotional intelligence is the ability to realise that bad things happen. I think that's where strength comes from. It's the ability to know that bad things happen and good things happen, and that you will be unhappy at times and you will be sad at times and you will be angry at times, but having the emotional intelligence to realise that the most important thing is to focus on the things that are good and wait and hope and move and be patient for them. I think emotional intelligence is really important, because if you focus on the bad things, they can drown you. And actually, we're here for a short time, not a long time. And why waste time worrying? Header straight at the keeper there from Fulham. You just have to get on with it. There is no other way in this world, says Ladios. Southgate will still pick Phillips and Maguire, says Louis. Well, he'll be able to pick Maguire now because he's played a couple of minutes. I'd watch along tomorrow, says Gems. 100%. 100%. 100%. Looking forward to it. Make sure to tune in tomorrow on the United Stand for Man United Galatasaray. You never know what you're going to get. Happy Bridge, sad Bridge, angry Bridge. Do a player of the match poll, please, says Football Fan. Well, give me some contenders. I'd say there's a few. I think Colwell's played well. Enzo's played well. Gallagher's played well. Palmer played well. Silva's played well. Yeah, there's a lot of good players for Chelsea. Pereira's come off. I know somebody said something about that. What's that horrible top Pochettino's wearing? Looks like some sort of apron, says Paula Chin. Off topic, but I think there's more to why Ten Hag doesn't drop Rashford and Bruno. They're on high wages and we know player power exists in the club. Maybe he's forced to play them, says Football or Soccer. I'd love to know if that was true. That's proper journalism, isn't it? Imagine if you uncovered that you know what? I'll say it how it is, and I can only tell you stuff that I've been told and I believe to be true. I'm fascinated and love football. But I'm fascinated. Are the Gary Neville rumours true, says Stephen? And what are the rumours? I'm fascinated by football. And like when you play Football Manager or something like that, and you've got all these things that you can have when you buy a player, like guaranteed game time, etc. I know a few agents, and I said, look, off the record, I'm not going to give you names or your clients, but are there players that have it in their contract that they've got to start a certain amount of games? And they said, God, yes. So, but I said, I don't believe you. And they said, why? I said, well, I think it's just like for a computer game. Not everything on a computer game is true, is it? the power shot on FIFA is not a reality. The skill moves on there aren't a reality. And no, they said no, it is true. If you're a good enough player, or you've got a good enough agent, or you've got a club that's willing to do it, then there are players that have things in their contracts. So I would love to know what they are, because they're kept secret. I'd love to know it. I mean, I don't personally believe that Ten Hag what a save by Sanchez. How have Fulham not scored? I don't know, Mark, is the answer. The cross came in. He's 6 yards out. It's a tap-in. It's a tap-in. He's onside as well. Oh, my God. How is he? That's a great save by Sanchez. That is it's a bad miss, but he's 6 yards out with nobody on him, and he can whack it, he can pass it. Oh, it's a terrible miss, but it's a good save. Liquid says, I admire your work ethic and ability to speak publicly. Thank you, Liquid. But yeah, going back to what I was saying before, I would love to know some of the details of contracts in football. Like, I'm not even United, because I don't believe that a manager has to pick a player 75% of the games or something like that. But I've been told that there are contracts like that, and I'd love to know what they are. I'd love to know what they are. I'd love to know who's got them as well. I mean, I understand why they don't get told, but some of these players have retired now, so why can't you tell us? Who's going to win the Rugby World Cup, says Hash. I don't care. I don't care about golf. I don't really care about the Rugby World Cup. I liked it in 2003, but I even bought the game on PS3. Found it the other day. I got really into it just for the World Cup. Oh, the Invisible Man thing it's worth watching my latest episode of my career mode, because what happens on the 33rd minute threw me today. I'm very rarely speechless, but I couldn't believe it. I mean, the game I played where it wasn't over the line, I thought that was just unlucky. But what happened today, apparently it's happened to a few people, but I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely... I was stunned. I've never seen that happen before. Basically, I'm playing the game and I'm running out from the back with Varane. There's no one near him. He loses the ball, and then the ball starts moving away from him. There's nobody there, and then they blast it in the top corner. And I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Apparently, it's a glitch. But, yeah. Green's Cocktail Bar, Solihull, says Fraz. Can't say I know it. Make sure your game's updated, says Martin. What do you think of the FIFA game? EAFC. I've enjoyed it more today. I'm looking forward to it on Wednesday. I've had to put a lot of work in. I'd say if you're going to play it, don't be fascinated with scoring goals before you've sorted your defence out. Play with two holding midfielders. Don't ever control your defence unless you really have to. Just control your midfielders and leave the defending to the CPU. Don't jump into tackles, jockey, and safety in numbers until you get to grips with defending. Boring conversation, that I know. Let's talk about who'd win in a fight, a polar bear or a hippo. That'd be a good fight, you know. I tell you what, that's probably the best fight I've ever thought of. Hold on, got Conor Gallagher on the break, went for a shot. You know what he's done there? Conor Gallagher there is a little bit like a virgin trying to do it some odd position the first time. He's gone for an outside of the foot finish. It's not really in his skill set. Who would win in a fight, a hippo or a polar bear? Oh, I'll tell you what. I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't know. But look, imagine the polar bear's a nonce and the hippo is a mass serial killer of peacocks, right? Now you're interested, aren't you? Now I've got your attention. When it was a polar bear against a hippo and they'd done nothing wrong, you're like, and it's a fight to the death, it's cruel. But if the polar bear's a nonce and the hippo's a mass murderer, now suddenly you're like, this is justice. Who's going to win, a polar bear or a hippo? The lion's not in the game, Gene. Shut up about lions, Gene. Everything it's always like, what's your favourite chocolate? Lion bar. You know, what's the strongest animal? The lion. Who would you like to shag? A lion. Gene and a lion talk. It's not about a lion, Gene. I've told you before, shut up about lions unless they're in the game. We're doing a polar bear against a hippo. One's a nonce, one's a serial killer. Take your pick. I wonder if that happens in the animal world. I bet it bloody does. And talking about lions, I've seen a video of a lion killing lion cubs because they're someone else's kids. So I guarantee they do other stuff that we put them in prison for. Do a poll. Who'd win in a fight? Not who you'd want to win. It's not like Man City against Burnley and you vote for Burnley. This is serious. Hippo or polar bear? I know who's going to win. I actually know who's going to win because I know nature. I actually spend a lot of my time. You'd be surprised about me in this sense. I'm very good on nature. My granddad got me into football and Man United, but he was also, I mean, sometimes, rest in peace, he did used to bore me a little bit with his walks to look at birds and not women, that's a derogatory term, but he had all these books about, I don't know, different types of birds and animals, and we'd have to go on walks with a stick and try and find stuff. I mean, sometimes I just wanted to stay at home, but I'd go on that walk every day of the week now because he's no longer with us. Josh says your content's amazing. I don't know what we're talking about, but I do know a lot about nature. A lot of it I didn't want to know. It was sort of forced upon me. I'd get books for Christmas about dinosaurs and bloody animals and shit, and you know, we didn't have phones in those days, so I'd get bored and read them. But I do know a lot about animals, and I'm telling you now, you're wrong. Are you worried about Man United against Galatasaray, says Ben? No, we'll be all right. Watch tomorrow night. Have they both found guilty, or is it hearsay, says Will? No, Will, the polar bear is 100% a nonce, and the hippo has been caught red-handed with blood from murdering multiple deers. Old deers. Not your gran, I mean like deers that are old. A fight between a hippo and a polar bear. Let's put them into a climate that's fair on both of them, because if you do it in the North Pole, the hippo is going to freeze its tits off. It's not going to want to fight, it's going to freeze. And if you put a polar bear in a swamp, it's going to struggle. It's going to get dirty for a start and be worried about, oh, I'm meant to be white and I'm all dirty. Has anyone got any aerial? So I would say that in a fair fight, in the right climate, a polar bear wins easily. Easily. You don't. They're the most dangerous animal to man. A polar bear. I've heard that before from Don in the pub 20 years ago. He said the polar bear is the most dangerous animal to man, and he knew a lot of things. But a hippo's only got its mouth. It's got no feet. I mean, it can't use its feet. A polar bear has got arms and a mouth. A hippo's just got a mouth. It can't grab you. It walks. It's like a big cow with a massive mouth. So, polar bear wins. Polar bear wins. Sorry, polar bear wins. There is a risk. There is a risk. I'm not saying there isn't a risk. You know, it's like Man City playing Bayern Munich. I think Man City win, but Bayern Munich could do it. They've got Harry Kane, but a polar bear will beat a hippo. Unless the polar bear's thick and sticks its head in the mouth of a hippo, in which case it's dead. But polar bear will rip a hippo apart, especially if it does it from behind. Like grabs it from behind. If I was a polar bear and I was fighting a hippo, I'd just say, come on, try and bite me. Shuffle to the right, jump on its neck and just rip it apart. The big, fat, grey idiot. Which is what they're happy to be called if they've been killed by a polar bear. Did you know in 2012 Messi scored more goals, 91, than the team who respectively won the Bundesliga, the Champions League, League One, and the Premier League? Les, that's for the Messi loving forum, not for us. I can't believe 56% of people think a polar bear would win. You're wrong. It's coming down 55%. You're actually wrong. Give me another one on the next poll. We're going to do one of these every show. Agony Goldbridge, watching the football. I'm telling you now, hippo does not beat a polar bear. It doesn't. What animal would beat a polar bear, says DJ? That's a good question. I don't know. I genuinely do. I don't think there's many animals. I mean, look, you put a polar bear swimming around near a killer whale, it'll eat it. In fact, I bet that's happened. I bet a polar bear has been beaten by a killer whale when it's swimming for food. Would an elephant beat a polar bear? What? Why? What? By swinging around its trunk? Bollocks. An elephant, they're overrated. Oh, an elephant could kill a lion. An elephant could kill a polar bear. Only if they lie on the floor and let it tread on them or spike them with their horns or their tusks. Hippo has a tough skin, quick as well for its size, says Regan. Stop bigging them up. I'm telling you now, a hippo against a polar bear is like Man City being a polar bear and playing Brighton. It could happen, but most of the time it won't. And I think I might be being generous there. De Zerbi ball ain't going to beat Pep. And a hippo ain't going to beat polar bear. Hippo would smash up a polar bear, mate. I'm not having it. I'm not having it, Savage. I'm genuinely not having this. I mean, hippo versus polar bear. Oh, it's zebra here. Oh! There is actually an article about who would win a fight in a polar bear, right? A hippo, this is from the internet, so it can't be a lie. Chelsea are going to win this, by the way. Fulham just can't score. Would a bear win against a hippo? Since adult hippos can hold their breath for 30 minutes, the brown bear wouldn't be able to survive. Grizzly bears are capable of being fierce fighting machines, but they're only an ultimate predator when they're on land. Yeah, well, we're doing it on land. We're not doing it under bloody water. It's not a swimming lesson. Bloody hell. They've not done the parameters right. So they say, what we got here? There's no way a hippo is beating a fucking polar bear. They're having a laugh. I tell you what, hippos can run quite fast though. 20 to 30 miles an hour. They've got thick skin. That's why you can call them fat. They've got really thick skin. It doesn't bother them. In a battle between a heavyweight polar bear and a hippo, we need to look at the size, offensive power and defence. I love this. Those major factors will help us to determine. Hippos are bigger than polar bears by every measure. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Speed and movement. Hippos are faster than polar bears. A polar bear can run up to 25 miles. I don't believe that. Hippos have similar superior defences to polar bears. Hippos are more powerful. Polar bears have sharp, curved claws. But they've got a big chomp. Who would win in a fight? Hippo is larger, stronger, has better offensive powers and defence that would allow it to last longer. They're not having sex. Bloody hell. Sure, the polar bear could use its claws to cut the hippo to ribbons, but it would take some time and power to cut through all that flesh and fat. There's no way that the hippo, one of the most powerful aggressive animals in the world, sits there and takes that damage. Instead, the hippo needs 1 or 2 bites to incapacitate the polar bear. Its massive teeth would penetrate the bear's fur and skin, breaking bones and ripping into organs. In this rare case, speed on land would only matter at the beginning of the fight. Even if animals charged at each other to start the battle, a distinct possibility. The hippo could slam into the polar bear and end the fight quickly. What animal can defeat a polar bear? Most hippos are killed by other animals for... Okay. I've read enough. I think this is the hippo fan page. Sponsored by Hungry Hippos. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. A polar bear would beat a hippo. Not having it. Just not having it. It's only got its mouth. Can you wish my husband Fabio a happy birthday, says Mod. Yep. Happy birthday, Mod. I'm not having that. Sorry. It's just hippo bias. Look, if we want to get technical, right, the reason a polar bear would win is because a hippo goes like that, right? All it's got is its mouth. You are completely and utterly not taking into account the dexterity and intelligence of a polar bear. Like, as long as you stay away from its mouth, beyond its mouth, it's basically a big fat cow. That's all it is. I don't want to be a hypocrite, but I did nick that. But yeah, a rhino's no good. That's just a plodding big horn. I'm going to start a series. I'm just going to start a series. Attenborough, I'm coming for your job. Who'd win in a fight? It's the new documentary. People are bored of watching penguins sit on a rock and go and fetch a bloody fish. Oh, it's so dangerous. Don't care. Who'd win in a fight? Penguin or a eagle? Yeah, penguin's getting its arse kicked, isn't it? Rhino skin's bulletproof. That's a myth. I haven't seen one, thank God, but if you stood and put a Magnum, and I don't mean one of the chocolate ice things, against a rhino and shot it, it would die. Unbelievable how uneducated you are on this topic, says NAU. It's not a lack of education. It's actually a lot of education. I know a guy who had a hippo as a pet. Granted, he got eaten, but the fact is there was a guy in South Africa who had a hippo as a pet, and he used to ride it. Probably why he got eaten. Dirty bastard. But he had a hippo as a pet. You would never have a polar bear as a pet. Oh, Casido's down injured here. And Willian. Oh. You don't want this, Chelsea. You want to hope this is a connection injury. Oh, shit. He don't look good there. Oh, no. He might be all right. He might be all right. He's rolling around a lot. Hamster versus a mouse, says Mest. Same thing. You should see Hippo movie, man. It's really scary and quick. Ask any South Africans in this thread. We see hippos, don't wait around, says Regan. Yeah, the thing is, though, it's like we as humans, we desensitize scary animals. Like Hungry Hippos games makes them look like happy hippos that are happy to eat white balls. But really, you should put little humans there because they'd eat you. I'm not accepting the loss. Team Polar Bear. You know what? I've actually got a game that's got a polar bear on it. I'm going to get it out. I can't remember what it's called. Chilly Silly Penguins. It's brilliant. I'm going to get it. I played it on Going for Goldbridge. Chilly Silly Penguins. It's brilliant. Mark, do you like spiders, says Josh? I don't really. Seb hates them. If there's one in his room, he says, can you kill it? And I'm like... Exploring the Wild Kingdom with Goldbridge, the new Animal Planet on YouTube. It would be brilliant content. They just wouldn't be able to pay me enough. You know, if we did a series of 6, Goldbridge goes to the wild to see polar bears. Goldbridge goes to Africa to look at hippos. Goldbridge goes to, I don't know, wherever great white sharks live. I should know that, actually, because I'm very scared of them. By episode 4, it would be Goldbridge has a heart attack. I couldn't do it. I'd be shitting myself. I'd be absolutely. I'm not afraid to admit those 3 things scare me. Scott McTominay would win against the polar bear, says Illusion. Casido's hobbling off here. I think that's good news. The fact that he's hobbling off, I don't think he's done any major damage. How much would it take for you to do that series? Well, I wouldn't fund it myself. I'd want big money. Mark, you need to research this one. Hippos beat crocodiles and lions are crazy strong and fast. Polar bears can struggle to beat a walrus. They bloody don't, James. They don't. I was on about this the other day. You want to watch the video of the walruses jumping off a cliff and killing themselves because a polar bear's coming towards them. Ian says polar bear or a magpie. Oh, you know what? I would love to see a polar bear versus a magpie. Magpie jumping around your garden going and a polar bear just comes along. I'll watch that. I'd watch that. And I don't like horror. Anyway, we've had all the added time we're going to get. Man United Galatasaray tomorrow. We won't be talking about Hippos then. Chelsea won this in the first 20 minutes. Fulham have been toothless. They've given a good account of themselves, but it's a very good win for Chelsea. And Fulham do miss Mitrovic, but also Chelsea have just clicked tonight. Can they continue it to go? Can they keep it going? They've got some very difficult fixtures coming up after Burnley at the weekend, which they'll want to win. But it's a much needed win for Pochettino. It's going to be a long job. It's going to be a long season. But that's a massive, massive win for them. If they hadn't won, I think the pressure would be massive there. But there we go. Who'd win in a fight, Harry Maguire or a hippo? Come on, that's not a nice way for Harry to go. We've been respecting nature here. There's no need to put any jokes in it. Thanks everyone for watching. Enjoyed the show tonight. Actually, the game drifted in the second half, but we certainly didn't. Top quality content and chat as always. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. It's United stand tomorrow night for the Galatasaray Man United game. And then we're back on here Wednesday night for Newcastle PSG. Make sure you subscribe, get involved. Mark, are you going on a travel show? Would be the Carl Pilkington of nature's documentaries. I think it'd be interesting, yeah. What about sumo? Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Speak to you all in a bit. Stay safe. And thank you for being my company tonight. I hope you enjoyed it.